Brad, can you give us a thumbs up or something if you can hear us?
Oh.
I can hear you.
Thank you.
All right, welcome everybody. We had some, are you a presenter? Yes. So I think everyone knows everybody, so first thing on the agenda is I had a motion to approve the minutes from May 6th of 2025.
Motion number.
All in favor? Is that Robert's rules?
Yeah, it's Robert's rules.
All right. Minutes approved. Any old business? Anything? Any old business? Okay, new business. We are delighted to have two speakers today, and if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Maybe we introduce ourselves so she knows who's on it. That's the reason.
On
We can go
video.
ahead, we can go ahead. That'll count the video too. Let's go. I'm Scarlett, Tilly Price, Youth Assistant.
I'm Scott Spears, Chief Deputy Prosecutor.
Brandon Robinson, Deputy Prosecutor.
Cigars. Deputy Director of Court Services. There we go.
You seem to unsure.
I'm Sarah Griffin with Hancock County VHC. I'm Nicole Alves with Court Services. I'm Allison Everhart, Director of Court Services.
Rob Moore, Detective of the Sheriff's Department.
Frank Mouser, Circuit Court.
John Deputy, Chief Public Defender. Jeremy O'Connor, Shelby Police Department CIP Coordinator. David Lawson, County Commissioner. Chris Holder, Sheriff's Department.
Jared Sykes, Joe. Bill Weiner, Shelbyville Police Department.
And then we have Brad Run also on the Zoom.
Hi, Brad.
Hey,
Darren, you want to start us out?
I don't really like have like a presentation per se. I don't know what you guys want to hear. I don't know where were you on your discussion before about starting a behavioral health board?
Didn't get a winning endorsement last time.
Okay.
That's very sad. But I still invited you because I like you, so.
Okay.
Let's talk about the participants, what do they do, what they go through in your court.
Okay. So right now we have 28 participants in behavioral health court. We've graduated a bunch. We're about to probably get a few more in. I have, is that not right? No, we have 26, sorry. I have 12, the other case manager has 12, and then our coordinator, she has 2. We see them at least twice a week. Everybody is drug tested at least twice a week throughout the entire program. Studies show that weaning off of that is not good. So some people literally on their graduation day are being drug tested. So they come in twice a week, usually when they're there, that's where we catch up. Some people are there for 5 minutes, some are there for an hour. When we're not seeing them in person, we are texting them. I mean, I probably talk to people at least 3 times a week. Some people are a lot more high needs. As far as needs go, the IRAS, the Indiana Risk Assessment, we do not take people that are low risk. It's a waste of time, really, we just make them worse. So we only take high risk or moderate with high needs. So our people have a lot of issues. But some of them, like honestly, really, once they're on their meds, they're kind of good. Like you would even, we have a lady,
You do med, how do you interact with them taking their meds or like?
So we do med counts sometimes, especially for people that are on like Adderall, something like that. Then we also do with our drug screens, we have instant screens, and then we also have send off screens where it checks their levels. So we're doing that frequently to make sure that they're, if they're on a schizophrenia drug that's, in Vega or something that's in there. We have one lady who was arrested for going naked into a gas station and strangling the cashier. But when you look at, I mean, but now it's like, I don't know, she's just kind of a normal person. So someone like Stacy, though, we wanna make sure, are you taking your meds? Like, she has no drug issues, she has no other issues. And then we've got people who are heavy on the drug. So those people, that may look a little different than it does with her.
So you'll actually do a test for the whatever prescription they are actually prescribed and then check their levels to make sure that they're taking it
Yes.
appropriately.
And so much of this is, I think the misconception is that we're doing so much of this, but it really should be provider led. So, if I understand right, Aspire is now your community mental health place here too. They just became Hancock counties as well. So nobody has to go to Aspire, they can go to, we've got people at Hancock Health or whatever, but we need reports from them. We need to be doing what they want us to do. Like, if they say they need more support, we need to give them more support. If they send us an email and said, she's been clean for 3 years, I think 2 drug screens a week is excessive, then we're like, got it. Then what else can we do for them? At that point, if somebody's at the end, they've been in there a long time, technically our program seems to be 3 years. We've been graduating people a lot earlier because that's just ridiculous to keep them for 3 years. whether it's small.
Aspire or whatever service provider recommends.
Yeah, if we're getting reports all the time and we're at the point where, they've been clean 2 years and they take their meds and they have a job, like, I don't know what else we can do for them. So,
How do the candidates come to you? You said IRAS, but is the prosecutor saying this may be a candidate, or is the court identifying these
You-
individuals?
typically it comes from the defense attorney will send a referral. Or, you guys have jail navigators here?
So we've got a volunteer currently
Okay.
working on getting budgeted for that.
Okay, so they have jail navigators over there that they recognize people, like, you guys see them every day. So you're like, no, this is mental health, like, this isn't, they need help. So sometimes we get referrals from them. It's probably just, it's put in the plea, that they have to do the HC.
Are there certain offenses that you will not take?
We will not take, sex offenses, child molest, murder.
Violent offenses?
We do have some domestic battery. We have someone that's domestic battery on a pregnant woman. So I think those are kind of a case by case
You're
thing.
not certified yet, but is there a statute that says who you can and cannot take? As far as offense level?
I know for sure you can't do like.
Sure.
The child stuff and everything, but I don't know.
Often are they going to court?
At the beginning, they go bi-monthly, so we do the second and fourth Friday of every month. We just went to a 5-phase system, we were in 3 phases, but now once they're in phase 3, then they'll just go once a month. And I think a normal court could get that done relatively quickly. Judge Davis's court lasts a long time sometimes, but I think it could be like an hour, probably an hour and a half. Could be. Court could be done at that amount of time.
Like, when they're in court, like, can you compare and contrast that with how we did, our court?
So if you were if you were the judge in DHC, you would not be wearing your robe, you would not be sitting behind the bench. It's more, we have like, our team like kind of set up like this, we'd be set up here and then. Everybody would be out here probably like in the jury box or something. And it would be just more collaborative, so it's like. The question of the day, so last week at court, my boss was out, so I did the questions and one of them was, what's a dream that you've always had and. That you haven't went for, and like what's holding you back, and so it's like, it's not all about recovery or whatever, it's like we're trying to make their whole lives better. So, you know, you're asking that question and then it kind of like piggybacks, like some of the other participants then would chime in like, oh my gosh, I went rock climbing and I loved it or something. So like, we don't want to spend too much time, but I think they say 3 to 5 minutes per person. So, it's just a little bit more in depth, and then they say, does anybody else have anything to say? And then that's when I would say, you know, Jenna, I just want to say, I'm so proud of you for blah, 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 you got a promotion or whatever. So the whole team knows what's going on. We keep in communication, so whoever's on the advisory team for this should be reading our staffing updates and stuff. And then we have staffing before court. So it really is more versus JIP where it's just, you doing all right? You know, it's like, we know so much more about what's happening that we ask deeper questions and stuff.
Who makes up the advisory team?
It would be, I think it kind of has to be, someone from sheriff, city, police, probation, community corrections, defense attorney, like, yeah, someone from the public defender, someone from the prosecutor. We have a jail navigator. We have a peer recovery coach, that's actually really instrumental in that. Have 2 peer recovery coaches, but one does a lot, and she's really a lot of help. I think who else? Yeah, just kind of a wider range of.
Any specific providers, and so it would be like whoever's like a sponsor.
Yes.
Like it's a representative.
Yep, Aspire would be there, we have someone from Hancock Health. Community is pulled out, I'm sure you guys know about that, so community is no longer, they weren't even really coming anymore anyway.
Brad had a question on Zoom. Is there communication back to the primary care and mental health teams?
So in staffing. Well, primary care, like your doctor or,
Yeah, like we monitor some of their medications, not just the mental health providers. So I didn't know if that comes back to us as well to show, hey, they are compliant, they are getting help. Because it kind of helps with us on how often we're following up with them.
yeah, I think, we're getting reports from the providers. We're supposed to, anyway, monthly. And then checking their meds, but as far as like their other meds, I don't know. We don't really follow up on that.
I'm just, not every person has the best care through the mental health provider. So that's why I'm asking if it comes back to the primary care as well, or if it just goes back to Aspire. That makes sense.
Not really, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you like sharing that with like, say, Dr. Logan, or are you
Oh.
only sharing it with Spire?
No, I would not share it with Dr. Loman unless they asked us to, and we had a release to do that.
He's providing the prescriptions to these individuals, is it through Aspire? So Aspire is kind of directly related, or they're to the doctor prescribing, right? So they do know.
It would be Aspire or Jane Polly or whoever. I mean, not everybody has to go to Aspire.
Sure. There's the direct link to whoever's doing the prescriptions.
There should be. We have a guy who's. Well, it's hard, but he's trying. But his doctor is through community, and that's who's been just primary care doctor that's been giving him like schizophrenia meds and stuff like that. So we're trying to like rein that in, but.
But you're not checking to see if they need blood pressure meds or need a root canal or.
No.
Yeah, it's just focused on that.
But if that's something that they need, then that's something that like we help them with. Case managers would say, hey, let's get on the phone right now and call and make a dentist appointment.
So those
Who does
two, yeah, go ahead. So like your position, is it a grant funded position or is it something that's in your budget for it to?
I don't, because I'm not the coordinator, I don't know so much of the budget stuff, but I do know that we get once you're certified, you get the grants from the state, but then we get grants for other things, so I know that Carrie has asked for, we just got a grant for incentives and training, so they're paying for us to do the MRT training. Also, like I said, for incentives, like graduations, and that kind of stuff, so there's plenty of, like, if we need more, then we reach out to those.
Who does the case management?
I do, and there's another girl, so there's two of us.
Two.
Mhm,
So you're familiar with Shelby County.
mhm.
I think the main pushback is we have the population for it. This, with your knowledge of the cases, because if everybody didn't know, how long were you in circuit court? That was yours.
I think
You had what, 26 participants?
I'm 26 now, yeah. I think you have to think this is not like necessarily what you guys are doing. Like Linda, this is not the Lindas, this is not, we can't do that.
The long terms.
This is not, yeah, this isn't the people that are sitting out rocking by the street, like, that's not who we're focusing on. This is the people who have, bipolar and that kind of stuff, and they just can't get it together, but they have to be able to get it together. It has to be something that is possible.
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, not to give up hope on the Lindas, but
No,
it's,
but they're a small percentage of the overall mental health calls that we get, right?
Yeah.
And so. The bigger piece of that population, I think, would be served well by something like this, because. The majority of the people that we do run into. Are able to get it together if they have someone watching over them. With the court, with case management, with staying on top of appointments and medications, things like that. Certainly can be successful. That's usually our gap.
yeah.
We kind of had a quasi one, Jeremy and I handled. But we don't have a person like you, we need one of them 3 times a week, where that's outside Jeremy's. I don't think he has the time to do something like that.
I feel like it's the people I have in CAT and moving on.
Yeah.
Like, those are the people that are coming in, their medications keep getting switched around, I feel like one week they'll come in. Very emotional, and then they're like, I'm on this, and we talked about the doctor, like, that's kind of the gap that's being filled is the CAT and then moving on class. Is where we can at least have eyes on somebody and what's happening in their life, but. That's just a small thing.
Yeah, I think our biggest asset is the rapport that we have, like, I could call 15 people right now and they would just say, they would tell you everything that they've done recently, like, they trust us, but that is, you have to buy into this program if you're gonna do it. The prosecutor has to be on board, everyone on the team has to be on board, or else it doesn't work. This isn't community corrections, it's not probation. You fail a drug screen, you're not going to jail, like, we might test you 3 days a week now instead of 2. We might get you into more programming, but you've really gotta do some bad stuff to get into jail. Like, this isn't, we're rehabilitating and building trust with people, and that's a hard part with Hancock County is we're getting there. But, a few people, I was out, my dad passed away, my boss, she was out sick. That weekend, 2 people got put in jail, because nobody was advocating for them, and just over failed drug screens. And like,
No, why
Those
does the
people
judge know?
well, because it was misrepresented, now those people know more BHC, but I'm just saying, like, everyone has to be on the same page.
And are all the cases being docketed in DJ's, Judge Davis's court?
Yeah, they do not get transferred, but kind of like how Judge Walker's doing it, it's put on there, that he's the judge, I guess, and obviously it looks like it, but
And he
It's-
handles all sanctions and incentives.
everything. Nothing goes back, even,
Even if someone is removed, they are. Judge Davis does the final disposition.
yeah,
Are any of them on probation, female corrections while they're on your program?
A few of them are, lately they've been, it seems like they like to put people on community corrections right off the bat. I personally think that that's extremely harmful and for people, because they're like. Being charged all this money and they already don't have their lives together and they're struggling with so many things. But yeah, but it's usually temporary. It's like let's get you on there for maybe 90 days or something until we know where you're at and stuff. There are a few people who are sentenced to home detention while they're on it. Well, I don't think we have anyone that's on probation. We have, we've got a couple of people, I think, but like it says do probation on the back end, you know, but.
Are there any prereqs to get into, like, qualify for that? Like, do they have to have a pre-existing diagnosis?
Yes,
So, like, somebody that's not diagnosed with something, you know. Is there a way to get them in front of the mental health court?
Yeah.
Even though they haven't been diagnosed yet? Okay.
so, Hancock County has, which I don't know if. This is something that you with your degree would maybe do in this case, or somebody, I don't know. There's a girl, Erin Davis, and she is, a licensed, whatever, mental master's level. So she actually goes to the jail and assesses people, like does a full on mental health assessment. If, without her, we would need a person to go do that. But they do have to have something. And we really need to get away from just the anxiety and depression part of it, because we get some of those people and it's just like. You were just trying to find a way out of going to jail, but I have as much anxiety as you do, like you can do this, there have been a few people let in that. Probably should have been there, but.
Is there is it formal or kind of informal, like say you call them all the times, do you guys document that in an area, and does everyone, the team players get to see those documentations, or is there just kind of word of mouth between each other?
We document every time we see someone, we put it into the SRX system. And sometimes we see these people so much that each meeting is not some deep meaningful thing. It could just be like what you do this weekend kind of thing, but yeah, just like, oh, Chase came in for a random drug screen, he, whatever happened this weekend, he's, got a doctor's appointment coming up. But then we have staffing, before court, and that's where we discuss everything. I go up to staffing more in a minute, but prior to that, we send out a word about everybody. And then staffing is where the advisory team is all together. And when I first started, they would talk about everyone, the staffing meetings would last like 3 hours. So now it's, you need to read this ahead of time, and we're only talking about things that need decisions. So Chase tested positive. This is his first time. What does everybody think about that? The judge has the final say, no matter what, but we're a team. I can imagine that if the judge heard everyone on the team say he shouldn't go to jail, the judge is just gonna put him in jail, but.
Well, it's advisory team, so this is who attends the staffing meetings, right?
Yeah.
And so do they all attend court as well?
They should, yes.
Do you guys have a good turnout of people on the team actually showing up for court?
No, yeah, yes and no. The sheriff never really does, but he usually at least is on stuff in Zoom. It's not a
There's
little,
probably not dealing with this person at all. Since he's not, they're rarely going to jail.
right.
Yeah.
It is a nice perspective to have though, like example, Chief Hartman. I love when he's there, which he usually tries to be, he. Has a really good perspective that some of us get a little heavy on the social work side, and sometimes you need that. Well, listen, you should be held accountable for that, so it's nice when everybody shows up.
That person that does the assessment, since we're moving to Aspire, do you think that's someone they could supply or do, or I know you're not that, but
Yeah,
do you know if that would be a possibility?
I think it's absolutely a possibility, I just think we'd have to pay for that. to have that.
Yeah, say, I haven't got quotes for Inspire yet, but I know community correction, I think they wanted $8 an hour when they were doing their assessment or something like that. Again, I don't know what Inspire would be, an assessment, so.
Voices may have the ability to do that as well. I don't know.
So what we typically do is we get a referral. And then one of us goes to the jail, or if the person's out, they come in and, well, I'll do their IRAS first to see if they can call, like, we're not gonna waste everybody's time if they're low risk. So we do their IRAS first, and then if, and honestly, sometimes it's talking the other way, but then Aaron will go and do the assessment. Go from there. In my opinion, the referral process takes way too long. It's something that we really need to work on. IOCS just came to audit us, to do our pre-certification on Thursday, and that was their first question was, tell me about this, and I thought, oh no, okay.
What
So,
is the time period from arrest to involvement?
a long time, yeah,
How would you fix that though? They're not getting defense attorneys
we need to get
quickly.
the attorneys on board. And not use it as a lot, not just keep continuing the cases for no reason, saying we're working on something. Like it needs to be, or I don't know, better, just from the jail, I don't know. It comes
Do
from
you get
there,
referrals from the jail? Cause they're
We-
best equipped probably to do it.
we have, yeah, just a couple, but
So you're saying that most of the referrals come from defense attorneys though? Is that what
Yes.
you said?
Yeah.
And do you get any from jail navigators?
just a couple.
Well, that's what I was thinking, it seems to make more sense for us, the way that jail navigator might be a good place for that too, especially if we have a full time.
I think the problem, the only hang up with that is that with the jail navigators, they don't know the legal side of it so much where it may be a case where they're like, oh, there's so much mental health here, this person would do great, but then you look at like it's a case that like the prosecutor would never get on board with sometimes, but I think they could at least do the referral and
Yeah, cause that's how Melissa's not gonna do it. I see someone. And this is easier because it's usually their fourth, fifth drug offense, so that's. With this, I would never know if they're suffering from mental health. Just by looking at their criminal history.
the Indiana Office of Court Services said it should be easy to get in and hard to get out. So.
So I mean, my relationship.
We're all.
How's the certification process?
So, they told us that we will be provisionally certified September 1st. So, I worked my butt off for that, cause that court is a mess. Don't tell me that I said that. Like, it was a mess. But,
Who told you in business?
I was warned. But yeah, the only thing there was, the paperwork, there was a couple things that were worded weird, but we're gonna be provisionally certified, and then we operate off that. And then they come back in 6 months, and apparently they'll do a full audit at that point, like. Interviewing participants and people on the team and sitting in court. But really, I mean, as far as to me, it seems like starting from scratch would be so much easier than fixing things. Like, I don't know, paperwork's not rocket science, it's a participation agreements, ROIs, it's all this stuff. So,
When did you start
Yeah.
when did you start the application process?
gosh, when did they come? They revoked the certification in January or something, maybe.
So they were already certified?
They were
Oh.
provisionally certified.
Oh, and then they got revoked.
Because of the delay.
Because the person that used to run it, was, I don't know, I guess it was just a mess, like he didn't do anything they was supposed to do, so like my boss, when she came into it, it was a mess and. It's just been a process.
When did they initially apply for it, you know?
I don't know how long. I think you get like provisionally certified, then it only takes 6 months. But
It's a lot like our alcohol and drug program we have in-house now. It's a very simple process to that certification and writing policies and procedures and. But it's not like years to get certified.
No.
No,
Okay, no.
it really should take
18 months.
probably, that'd be, in my opinion.
When we did a drug court in Hancock County, it's 18 months,
Yeah.
2 years.
And you could, how quickly are you provisionally?
We just had that meeting Thursday and she said September 1st.
Okay. So that process is pretty quick.
I think so, but I haven't been there from the scratch beginning, you know, I think you'd have to get some. You probably have to get going, get some participants, get a little,
It'd take about a year. I think that's where we were with our drug court, when we first started. Yeah, cause they wanna see results, and she's right, it's all about policy. Right. And they do interview everybody.
We have our audit just like
Yeah.
that. With our alcohol and drug program, they come down. I don't know that it's as often, but they interview the providers, some participants, that. Really something.
I will say, I think. It's needed, we are helping people a lot, just the case management part of it, just the little things like helping them get a job and stuff like that, like, I don't know, I think so many people. Were focused on. I don't know, just. Not punishment, but you know what I mean, the supervision part of it, but like, where do you want your life to go? What do you want? It's like, I have a guy. I'm like, what are your goals? He said, what? So he said, I said, no, like, what are your dreams? Like, what? He said, I want a cabin and I want a motorcycle. All right, well, how do we do that? Well, I don't have a license because my child support's back, you know, like those little steps, and it should be completely goal oriented, like that should be the focus. Of it is meeting goals, and that's how they phase up, and then that's how they graduate.
Takes them out of survival mode, when it takes them out of survival mode, they're able to see a bigger picture, but they have to. Feel like safety, food is covered first, and then it's, you know, goal setting comes. If you sit in a room right after you come over from the jail and you're told, now you can do this, here's all the money, you're just in like survival, so nothing else is gonna work, you know?
I imagine the generational impact is probably gonna be significant, once you're able to get out that far and see that, right? The impact that you had on these parents and how they're being able to go through these programs and be successful at it impacts their kids, so we break some of those cycles. Right?
What is the cost? There's a mandatory fee when you're certified, right?
Yeah, it's, and I think you can charge out once you're provisionally certified, so we can start charging again, it's $50 a month.
That's the total fees related to the program.
Then they pay for their drug screens, which are twice a month, or twice a week, so. We currently use forensic fluids, oral, it really. When I started, they had just stopped urine like the week before, I'm so grateful, but they're just, you know, our program is primarily men and have all these women, it was, you know, so. The difference with oral is that it's such a shorter window, so we had a guy who. The judge was like, oh, I'm over it, like, you have to quit smoking weed, like, you tested positive about it, like, I'm gonna put you in jail or something if you don't knock it off. And so he quit, and then 90 days later, as he was at his doctor, he was still testing positive for THC. So like, if we were doing urine, then it would still look to us like he was doing it, but we use the mouth swabs, which takes 72 hours. So. We kind of want to know what you're doing now, and then since we test them so often, and there's plenty of flaws in that, but.
What resources is Shelby County lacking to start something?
I think you have Aspire, I think you have people that want help, I don't really know what else. Probably a homeless shelter, probably the number one, I mean, we do have people that are at that Hope House, not really as helpful, not, but.
Would DJ take out of county cases?
out of county cases.
Yeah. Some courts are taking, that have veterans courts are taking.
Yeah,
Transfers from other counties.
He is not, we just discussed that in the audit, because they asked that question.
No. But it is done since they asked in the audit, other communities. have done. Good job. Any other questions for Tara?
Feel more favorably about it now?
I did.
I like knowing the stuff, cause I didn't know a lot of it. So,
There's probably a lot more than I'm looking. Hi.
You're gonna have to give the report on
I think we're good.
Any other questions for Tara? No? Thank you, Tara. And you gotta follow that up, Ms. Klein.
I
Are you
think I
ready?
will,
All
yes.
right.
So she was asking about homeless shelter and that's the need, but not what I'm here. I
Welcome to
knew,
Wildport next week.
I know most of you, or at least faces and names, but I worked for the city. I was a firefighter medic for 20 years, retired a few years ago. Started volunteering at Salvation Army, fell in love with people that all of you know very, very, very well. And organically, a day center at Salvation Army opened. And now just last week it closed, but I will move on from it. They're still hooked up. But I just wanted to share with you, I know some of you have seen me in courtrooms, I noticed different people there too. But just the huge growth, which doesn't look huge in a lot of general public's eyes if you see. But the community and the growth, and they call me Mama Diane at the center, and I'm just the one that comes and gives them advice. But they've also said that they are very intimidated with me when I talk to them from jail. And they've been ornery in jail, and I get after them, they're telling me, I'm really more intimidated by you than the jailers. I'm really glad you're not my judge, because I would be tougher sometimes. But they're getting the love there that they haven't got with, most of the people that we work with have tremendous traumatic histories. Not that that is an excuse for their behaviors, but that's just why. So I wanted to share a few huge growth things. One of our girls, whom everybody would know, she used to come in and she would just talk nonstop. And I could not get her to shut up, and I didn't know what she was talking about, and I learned to say, hey, do you need a journal? Yes, Mama, I need a journal, and then she journals away. If that doesn't work, I'll say, she would come up to me and be like, Mama, can I use your phone so I can listen to music? I really need to de-escalate right now. Which, when she first started coming, I was like, I'm gonna need some backup here, because I do not even know how to deal with her. So we got to that point, and now, just a couple weeks ago, she went walking out of the center, and I was like, hey, where are you going? And she's like, I was about to punch somebody in the face, and I did not want to do that, so I'm gonna go take a walk around the block. Oh my God. Holy cow. That's progress. That's the progress I'm seeing. Not that they're not eventually landing themselves back in jail for the moment. I had another girl who came to me and said, Mama, I am gonna go sit on the other side of the room because a different girl. I wanna punch this girl in the face. I respect this building and you too much. So I'm gonna go sit on the other side. I was like, huge, thank you. One of my guys this last week, he's fairly new, he was terrified to come into the center, but one of the other guys told him, Mama will not let you go hungry. He had to eat for a few days. So he came and sat and told me a little snippet of his story and was sobbing at the end. So I get a lot of thanks for just listening. And I know that's not everybody's job here. We all have different jobs, but that's my part of our little community. And he just said it means so much that somebody would sit and listen and not judge me. Because everybody looks at me and knows I'm trouble and they judge me. Another one, I have been in his face literally for months, telling him, you are worthy, you are worthy. And he's like, nobody has ever said that to me before. Well, I went to court with him one day, and the judge he was standing before said, you are worthy, you are not your past. And he went out of that courtroom going, that's the second person that said that to me. I did not. He is actually in work release now because the judge said, you know what, I'm not gonna put you in jail. We're gonna try work release. He wasn't like exceptionally thrilled about that because he didn't want to go anyplace. But now he's 40 days out of being released. He is terrified. Terrified because there's safety in jail or work release. He is terrified because he has grown so much. And he doesn't want to go back to his old ways. Now we have a support around him now, but still, he is a terrified man. Anyway, I can talk about that forever and ever. But because of that, Mayor Ferguson had reached out to me. He knew I was in with our homeless community, asked what they needed, if they needed mental health, if they needed, addiction, what did they need the most? And I said, well, what they need the most, just like Scarlett had said, is they need a safe place. They need a safe place to sleep, and then we can work on all of these other things. You can't do anything if you're not sleeping safe. So he and I have been working together. My husband and I and two friends started a nonprofit, Sunshine House, which you're gonna see flyers around all over now. And we're gonna be opening a homeless shelter. And Salvation Army headquarters saw fit last week to close our community center for whatever reasons they had. So Sunshine House is gonna be taking that under our leadership too, which will be awesome because we know the people and love them and want to pour into them. We will have them, I already work on it now, it's just not official, but we work on goals and that drive, you don't have a license, well, let's get that, let's get your social security, let's get your insurance. We will be working on that. Our day center is going to be a church is letting us use their fellowship hall, just a block away from Salvation Army. Which I talked to my firefighter friends, they were like, oh, Austin, it's still on Station 1's territory, so they would still call us all the time, Diane. Thank you. But it is just down the road from us. We'll have the official opening, hopefully in at least a month. Because now I'm in the process of working on all of those policies and procedures, applications. They're going to have to, even coming into the day center, once they've been there a couple days, and I know they're still gonna be regulars, we're gonna get our information on them and have them sign agreements on. I learned a lot running the center under Salvation Army's authority of the ins and outs, how to deal with our people. And then our shelter, we are in the process. I have another meeting tomorrow with our attorney. The city is helping us purchase it. So I'm working with our attorney, the city's attorney, my realtor, our realtor. So we're getting closer. Our goal is before it gets really cold out to have the shelter open. The shelter, the one we are working on is right there. It is the attorney Arnold's old building.
So that's gonna be a residential homeless shelter.
It's going to be, yeah, it'll be an overnight shelter. Is what we are working on. We're in the process of purchasing it. It'll be an 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And then they can go to wherever they want to go to. They can go to Salvation Army, they can go to Sunshine House's Day Center, the days it's open. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have questions, so.
I was just gonna ask how many that would house, from the outside looking in, it seems small, but.
There's I won't say second floor, there's like a loft on the top of it, which can be an open loft for men.
Okay,
And then downstairs, there's several offices, and then there's the like a conference room. We intend to leave the conference room open to be like, once they check in, but don't have to go to sleep yet, kind of a community room. But the offices would be where our females would stay, making them into bunk rooms.
So how many beds you talking about?
I have to walk through and kind of count the spaces. It's going to, mm, 2025. And it'll be Shelby County residents.
So you'll house men and women?
We will house men and women,
Sex offenders?
yeah, and I'm talking with, Amanda Brown.
Mhm.
And then I've talked to Deanna Holder too about different aspects of that. So if they. Sex offenders have all sorts of stipulations, so we will welcome them if they are allowed to stay there.
No children.
No children. Now, our goal is we want to expand. I'm the person who's like, let's buy 5 buildings, let's do this, let's let them all come in before policies and procedures, but that's why I have a board. And a husband that's like, no, we're gonna do 1 building at a time, and you are going to have policies and procedures. And insurance and application forms. We will be, having application forms and interviews with anybody who's going to volunteer there too. It's something I've learned from doing community center too. I want to know the background and the heart and, you know, why do you want to pour into these people, or do you want to?
Not new staff.
At first, it's going to be volunteer. Yes, it will be staffed. There will be 2 people, one being a male. In there every night, the 8 PM to 8 AM. Absolutely. Our people have asked me a ton of questions too, like, oh, can we share bunks? Or, oh, I want my own private bedroom. And I'm like, heavens no. No, you know it's Diane. And I'm like, that's why you are not getting, it is not a private, here's your home forever. We're still working on policies and procedures. But our thought is, we're gonna sign you, you know, you can be here 90 days, let's keep you safe, you don't have to think about this, we're gonna work on you. Ultimately, getting a job, getting housing, this is not you're staying here forever. And 90 days, you have to be working on your goals then. And at the end of the 90 days, we will follow up, and have you been working on those goals? Let's reassess them. Because to be honest, even people that I've talked about that I love deeply. There's a lot of them that are not going to work on their goals after 90 days, I would be saying. This is not a good fit for you right now, you're gonna need to. Work on those goals or leave. Questions?
It's gonna happen the day center.
What happens in the day center? So it'll run similar to what I've done at Salvation Army. It's gonna be a place, there's tables, there's coffee, there's food. We will have things, so when Ralph walks in and needs a new pair of sweatpants, you know, I have those there for him. Have them so I can send them out with food so they can eat at night. Whatever they're gonna need for nighttime, if they're not at the shelter. And, there will also be the higher level of volunteers there saying, okay, hey, I'm here today to work on your goals. So let's do that. It's a safe spot. They've really grown from that. And when the center was closed this past week, there were several of them going like, Miss Diane, this has changed our lives. Like, we've never had just a safe place to know to go. I've had some of them send their buddies who I didn't know when they were released from jail. There'll be this new person walking in going, where's Diane? Who's Diane? Like, me. Who sent you? So-and-so from jail. They said, go find Mama Diane. She will make sure you're fed and have what you need. So it's just been home base. It's been home base for all of them. Someplace where they can sleep. We'll have cots there. We'll have coast chairs. They can just sit and chill out and just be safe. Be safe for the time it's open.
What if we have a situation where we have somebody that's been staying there and they're there under that, 90-day or whatever you choose for the time period. And they have some sort of disruption that they need to leave. Is that a situation where they can be told to leave right away, or do they have to go through an eviction process? You know, is that something that can be set up ahead of time, that hey, if you sign this agreement, you violate these rules, you're automatically out. They can't fall back on that whole, well, I've established residency here, so you have to evict me now. I just foresee that as being one of the things that we will definitely run into, you know.
In our policies and procedures, which I maybe Judge is gonna speak more on this, but we're going to have. If this happens, this is the consequence, if this happens, this is.
And I think Jeremy, you know, we probably want to see some flushing out of that language that, you know, nothing in this agreement, contract, whatever, establishes any tenancy or right to possession and.
Yes.
Basically, your guest at will, can be evicted. Or
Yeah, I mean, I think.
good or no
I
cause.
mean, I think the issue is gonna be what I think the issue becomes if law enforcement has to get involved to remove them and what, how law enforcement treats it, whether that's. You know, a civil issue.
Right, yeah, bro, that's a good point, Jeremy, yeah.
Okay. I'll catch up with you.
Okay.
Sorry, okay. Thanks,
What's the time frame for opening?
For the shelter, I'm talking with our attorney again tomorrow and the city's attorney, so it's when we can get all of that. In the exact wording that both of us agree with, but our goal is before it gets really cold out. We don't want to have any emergency shelters, we don't wanna have to have that, we wanna have this. And this will be too, I mean, I know I can think of 3 guys off the top of my head that they will never come and just stay there because they want to. And they will always be homeless, but when it's 20 below. They do want someplace to sleep. One of them had come up to me and was like, did I hear that you're really doing this time here? This is awesome. They build a trust because, last year, it was the city that did the shelter last year at the fairgrounds. But and I had been asking about one because it was so cold. And they said, well, that's all great, and they do need it, but we usually get 1 or 2 people who come. I said, let me talk to them, because when they trust a face, and it's not an official that they know, it's not an officer in uniform. Except maybe Jeremy, they talk about him a lot and, you know, how he helps them, but, they don't see officers in the best light a lot of times. And so anyway, I rounded them up and one of my volunteers and we drove them out and they had like 15 people staying at the shelter, at the emergency shelter for a few nights. Because they knew they could trust, I went in there and, you know, checked them in and they were like, oh, we've not seen this before. So the big trust issue, just like you had said, when they trust people, they'll open up and they will follow up.
What's the average head count at the day room?
I will have between 15 and 35, average is about 20 a day. And a lot of the same people, sometimes there's one just in and out for a couple of weeks. There's a lot, mainly guys. But we have a big enough female population too.
You were talking about this basically being an overnight shelter, so what kind of hours of operation, basically, what time will they be leaving?
It will be 8 PM to 8 AM.
All right, I'm just trying to envision them meshing with the public and the public school system. Yeah, okay.
We'll get them out and send them on to courthouse. Probation.
Don't come visit us in our hallway first.
No, for the report dates at 8:30 at night. That's what I mean.
We already.
Don't say just for the report, don't put it that way.
Mostly right now they live in my lobby anyway, so it's like.
Yeah, they're either gonna look here, like here, too, they'll come and be like, do my phone and. Sleep on the bed, ask me one question, so I shut my door.
You guys didn't say nice.
Cook their pants in the hall one day.
Is Salvation Army still doing lunches right now?
Salvation Army's main building is still open. They are doing lunches, they are doing food pantry, they just shut the community center part down, so they will be hanging out in the lobby at Salvation Army when, you know, when or if they cannot be at the library, some of ours can't be there, or the jail lobby, or the parks, whatever, they'll be in that lobby.
I didn't know we were still.
No, they still are, they just, had some different issues with the community center, so they wanted to reevaluate that.
We were providing, or Salvation Army was, like storage lockers, is that correct, for people?
We were, and we actually have the literal same locker that are going to our day center. That's been a big thing for them too. It's just a small locker. But they can keep, their extra change of clothes or their paperwork that they're always losing, in that. And then for the shelter, which I'm gonna talk to our attorney about, like for insurance stuff, we want to give them other shelters due to, I know, just a locked box at the end of their bed that they can keep a few things overnight, which is, we don't intend to drug test or inspect everything that comes in every night. But we will have in our policies that we can for no reason, which is what we have done at the community center too.
Well, did you say you're only accepting Shelby County people?
Yes.
So no transients or anything like that, if somebody comes through and needs a place?
Well, and that's what I'm trying to think about, because we've had somebody like, hey, I'm just passing through from here to here. What do we do? Do we say you can stay 2 nights or?
One, prove, so many people don't have IDs, so how do you prove that they're Shelby County resident?
And we have heard one shelter we've talked to said, oh no, they have to have an ID to stay here. And I thought, oh, well, that's gonna be an issue because most of our people don't have IDs. So I don't want to say, okay, we need to go find your birth certificate and your social security to this, and in 2 months you can say, so we're working out on all of those other things.
I was curious too, like. Do people from other counties hear about what you're doing here locally? And end up in Shelby County at the day center?
No, not at the day center. No. But I have heard that can be an issue when a new shelter has opened. I've had some officers talk to me about that. So our intent is only, and it's gonna be small enough, it's not gonna be a huge, it's not Wheeler mission, it's going to be that 20-25 beds or so, whatever we can fit in there reasonably. And we do want to grow and take, women and children or families. We would love to have a transitional, like getting off your feet, but that's way down the road.
I think that's everybody's biggest fear, Diane, we talked about this, is, if you build it, they will come.
Right.
And when the word gets out, whether or not we're filled to capacity or not, people hear about it. They're gonna show up, they don't care, they don't know if beds are open or not, they're not putting that much effort into it, they're getting there however they can. And then, I think that's probably the biggest piece of pushback that you'll get from any of the residents of the city or the county is, we don't want to bring people from other communities in here, because typically it's not their best and brightest that they're sending.
Right.
So.
Right. Any thoughts on helping that not happen?
I always see it on the flip side, I have so many families right now, like I have a lady driving a scooter all the way to the south side of Indy to stay in a cheap hotel just to come back and forth because her job's down here, she's doing really well. And she's driving, but that's where her and her kids are holed up.
Yeah.
Like, if she could just stay here in a shelter, then that would have saved, like, can you imagine she's riding a scooter in the middle of the night back and forth from Shelby County. But she's checking off those boxes, and it's just her life, how much harder we've made it for her. I've had 3 people who have been homeless, living in a car in the last probably 2 months, just pulled up in a truck, pulled up another car, couch surfing when they can, and so I don't see the other of the people coming from outside, we're seeing tons here.
Yeah.
It's just no place to go.
Diane, are you coordinating with, like, with the city and as far as, basically zoning enforcement and law enforcement? I guess my question basically is, the paradigm that I hear that works most effectively is if the city, if government wants to take back its public spaces where homeless are living now, parks, bridges and lobbies and stuff like that, you want to give them an alternative. I think we know the state of the law is that essentially now, if the city, the county, whatever wants to again take back those public spaces so that everybody can use them, then that has to be accompanied by this residential. I guess is there an overall plan here to coordinate, not just opening a shelter. But then again, working on. I guess. Cleaning up, taking back those public spaces. Starting to enforce, where people can live and. And, again, what living conditions and all that kind of stuff. Again, are we building an additional shelter? For people to live and doing nothing out here? Or is there a coordinated effort to get the people out of the parks, out from underneath the bridges and into the shelter? I mean, it's a carrot and stick. We just building, as Jeremy said, this needs to be built, that's great, but is this just more for an alternative?
Well, it's a balance scale, like, exactly, you gotta give more and have less of the other, or like, you don't wanna just have more of everything.
I think that's a great conversation for me to have with the city.
I think it's critical, yeah.
Police and sheriff, I mean, I've already talked with the mayor, but
Okay.
I think that would be fabulous to sit with sheriff and police chief to do that and Jeremy.
Yeah, I would love to be able to say that we went out and collected all the people that are living in public spaces right now, and, we're able to get them into this program. Take back, like Judge said, take back the public spaces, even with cooperation from these folks, so get these areas cleaned up. Kind of kill two birds with one stone there, so.
I guess that's what I'm hearing. This isn't like just an overnight stay thing. This is a program. So you've got 90 days if you're gonna stay here to try to turn
Let's
things
work on that.
around.
And if you're
You're
really
organized for that.
working, if you're working amazing on this, but gosh, I still have a few things I need to check out, it's gonna be up to their case manager, myself, to say, you're doing awesome, I think you need a little bit more time, let's give you 60 more days or sign you up for another 90 days. It won't be, yep, 90
Yeah.
days. But if you're sitting there and absolutely not doing anything, there's gonna be a difference there. I think we have a lot of wonderful organizations here in town. I've met with a lot of different nonprofits and just people working with all of the same people within this. I do a lot of meetings right now. And we have an incredible community to do that with. Just don't need to coordinate and wrap around everybody. Do what each of us does best.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Grant? Any further discussion on the two topics we discussed today? We go any further with the mental health board? Anybody gonna say yes, say no?
I think it'd be beneficial, but I'm not the one that has to do all the work. I'll help however I can.
Well, I think from a CIT perspective, it's like. It's something. It's an obvious thing from that perspective to me anyway. And if you look at it specifically from numbers, like what's your minimum number gonna be? I mean, you mentioned that earlier, they've got 26 in Hancock County. I mean, do we have, we're gonna say like 10, we gotta have 15, I mean, if you're helping people, you're helping people, and like Jeremy mentioned earlier, it's going to have more of a generational impact, so I myself would not want to limit it to a specific number. If we can help people, let's help people.
I guess a couple of thoughts. I guess one, does probation have the man hours to devote to that as a project? Two, if we're talking about getting certified, we already have a qualified drug board up and running. If we're gonna get something certified, I'd rather certify that. And I don't, if you guys have time to devote to it, I mean, would we want to do? I'd start as like a quasi mental health thing and see how it is. I mean, my only reservation on it is, I guess, I don't know, I understand the drug court stuff, I think better than I'm gonna understand the mental health thing, so. I don't know who's gonna run that and or spearhead it or whatever, like, I'm happy to be the judge for it, but.
I think that the first question you asked is, Allison, are you willing to vote? But
I mean, I could, but I don't know, there really isn't that much probation involvement, I don't.
case management,
Well,
your position.
I mean, if you're talking about hiring new people.
Yeah, you have to hire new people.
Yeah,
It's not that gonna happen.
that's not.
It sounds like it's better to build it from the base up, that's what you're kind of saying, the problems were, we're just taking something that's the bones of it, but it's better just to lay the foundation the way we want it. Right?
I mean, that's where that money would go though, right? I mean, that would be from the state to, you would wanna hire new people. I don't think you'd wanna incorporate it in probation.
Well,
Are you under probation or are you under the court? Okay.
So I mean, I guess then unless we're starting with the grant, then it can
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. That's what
I
we
did,
need someone to fill Tara's role.
So why don't we do a commit, like, start with just like a small committee group that wants to meet and say, see what's out there as far as grants. First, see what an option is.
What constitutes the need to be certified? Like, what's the difference between you have to be certified to do that, or you have a program that encompasses some of the things we've been talking about that are different?
Money.
So, yeah, I mean, there's grants for being certified. I don't know what the status of those are, honestly, at this point, there's so many certified courts now, I don't know how much. I mean, you might know better what you're looking at.
Who does certification for drug courts exactly? It's.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, to be certified drug court, or it'd have to be certified to be. Indian Office of Court Services, you have to meet minimum requirements, you have to have training. Judge has to have training, case managers, directors all have to have training, meet those surety annual training requirements. And then basically, you gotta hit certain metrics, so I mean, there's a pretty big buy-in to get, and again, and until you're certified, you know, that's gonna be a minimum to even qualify for any kind of grant funding.
Yeah.
So it's I'll say this, I know very little about specifically drug court or mental health course, but you know, it's a pretty big buy-in as to, you know, personnel and training and commitment, ongoing training. Certification and that sort of thing, and Trent mentioned, Judge Meltzer mentioned that again, we do a quasi drug court already, essentially. You know, we really kind of run a drug court, it's not a certified drug court, we've specifically decided. At this point, we don't want to be a certified drug court simply because the red tape is so much. That it's not worth our time hiring the people doing the training, getting the certifications and get it in return. Quite honestly, we sort of think that what we do is later, I mean, I'm good for that, but that's on the drug court end of it.
And through the mental health side of things, we've worked with the prosecutor's office on the courts to do diversions. You know, and those work out well anyways, I think.
So worked out.
Yeah. Some of it, yeah, right. I mean, we're learning on this side. But
And again, I think it was what Jeremy was kind of saying, we sort of are doing a quasi mental health report already. Without going through the certification process, but of course the downside would be qualified for funding, but. Again, I'm guessing most of that's probably going through Judge Reagan's court kind of stuff.
Yeah, most of the ones that I call Scott, it usually goes over.
Okay.
Spencer for the ones.
Are they the major cases we're talking about?
No, they're typically some type of crime, but it's born out of like not being on your meds, basically.
Okay, I'm just curious, because I haven't gotten it in, I would, so.
We had, I'm trying to think, there was like one of them, I think it was a fleeing, one was a fleeing, one, I forget what she was even charged with.
That's not a mental health court resolution, that's more of pre-trial diversion program.
Yes, that's what it's been, basically the prosecutor gets involved very early and they are released on pretty strict. release restrictions and have to go over to probation and they seem, keep a closer eye on them.
I will say if you're,
Now, so are those cases do like, I guess, screening and identifying, like alert filing, or those ones after they get
Usually
filed?
Jeremy
then-
calls me and goes,
Pretty Jeremy driven.
yeah, it's Jeremy. Jeremy calls me no matter what court it is. And then I try to
But kind of,
divert him to the appropriate resources.
but kind of after the case has been filed, this.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, it's usually,
It's usually post, right, and it's honestly like.
Post arrest.
It's pretty initial.
right, yeah,
Post-stress one.
before they ever get seen by a judge. So it's before we've actually decided what charges we're going, we have a charge enough with probable cause to at least detain them, you know, in jail. With the goal being, hey, this person doesn't really need a criminal record. They need treatment. What are our options? And then it's case by case driven, but you know, if it's someone who's just lapsed on their medication and they've done something stupid that results in a charge, but they're also unwilling to recognize that they need to go get help or refuse to go get help voluntarily. It's kind of a lever to say, hey, you can either choose to fight this criminal charge or follow the course recommendation or go voluntarily go to the treatment center, and then this charge is deferred.
And I think where we're failing here is not using probation to kind of keep the little Ferris gap.
Right,
Because
I agree with case.
for the last one we had, I had you tracking down whether she was going to treatment every week.
Yeah.
And we may just have to incorporate that. If we don't go the mental health court route, we may have to just incorporate pre-trial service.
Right.
I just personally think that if you, I see what you're saying with the proceeding with certifying a drug court, and in my opinion, I think that you could start a drug court and work on certifying it. And the mental health falls into that. And there are plenty of people on drug court in Hancock County that have mental health issues. The problem is you're not gonna get those people, like I said, Stacy, who's naked, strangled. The Stacy's can't come in because she isn't on drugs. But you could start out that way. You would just have to understand, you have to scrap where you're at now and start over. But I don't see why drug court couldn't be the problem solving court here that also deals with mental health. I mean, all those people, most of the people have mental health.
Yeah, they self-medicate, and it's usually,
It's dual diagnosis,
yeah,
most of them.
And the standards for this are provided by All Rise. It's it's for all problem solving courts, so I went to Orlando for that, and if the judges, prosecutors, I'm gonna go. So that's where we get standards from. Those standards are general for the people there, are for veterans court and drug court and all that stuff, so it should be, it's kind of the same. But
So you pay by the state or the county?
To the county.
I don't know. The county, I guess.
Well, you're employed by the court, assuming you're
Yeah.
not certified yet.
Probably.
We
You're
were
probably
certified.
paid by the county but reimbursed by the state.
Not yet.
when this
Eventually you would be.
We were provisionally certified,
Yeah.
so that was happening until 7
But they get, how much funding are they getting from the state?
that I don't know.
You follow up with that. There's a lot of questions about money. It's not fair about that.
I can tell you what we make, so the super case managers make $50,000 a year, you have to have a degree. The field officer, he's only part-time, I think he makes like $26 an hour for up to 30 hours.
And he's a court employee, not a community corrections.
Right, and then, but I think that that's something that would be
Yeah.
easily collaborated there. And then the coordinator, I don't know, she makes like 60.
Right.
Really, staff wise, that's what it is.
Ally, if you buy in, we can do a quad thing.
Yeah, I think the field officer are hard, maybe on this side.
Bob wants it. How you gonna turn down that light?
Well, yeah. We just have a meeting coming up with Spire. I think that until we have, Jane Polly's not taking any referrals right now. We don't have Gallagher right now, until we get Aspire and then situated, which is gonna be several months. I don't think that we can make any definitive decisions until we kind of see what they need and all.
That was the discussion
we've had several times over the years, talking either about drug court or either one, drug court especially, it all sounds well and good, but until you have the services readily available, you know, in the community, what do we do?
Right.
But, okay,
And we're
so
meeting
we'll be
with the-
curious to see how, you know, what comes online and when and what really the reality meets anticipation.
And we're meeting with the president and then one of their therapists or something, so. He reached out and said meeting with us, so we're meeting with both of them separately and,
We can do that.
I have to look.
You let me know if you don't mind.
So we could.
I'd like to read it. You're talking about.
We're meeting with the president one day, we're meeting with like their therapist another day, the other community.
Yeah, I think Scarlett's right, it probably should be, if we're gonna go down this quasi route, you wanna.
Quasi committee.
you want your quasi committee. Give
I
it-
is
I'll give you
the
that power.
meeting out to be part of the quasi. No, they,
People like it when.
it's better if they buy into it, cause if you just tell them, it doesn't work. The committee is a volunteer. So, shoot me an email. And we'll set something up like we did with our jail thing.
This is a. She built the drug court.
How would you feel about that scrapping JRAC? That make you,
We scrapped it together. We built it. in that day.
I think that I would be in favor if we're gonna move in a more positive direction and have something that people buy into.
Be more interested in flushing out developing JIF rather than scrapping it.
Well,
We have
I
something
mean,
that works.
Yeah.
there's literally been.
I would say the content.
But I'm not so much of a, you know, there's been literally hours put into developing JIP that now
Right.
consists of.
Right.
And I'm not gonna go into this, a couple people that are in program, which, you know, so. I think the model is really good. I think that it's been watered down because of not having participants. And I think Scott kind of said it best, and I'll use his words, we've gone from a Cadillac to a Pinto. So, that's his words, and I don't disagree with that, because I can't.
I'm a Ford guy, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cadillac and a Ford.
I think from having this robust internal jail program, lots of services. I mean, I've talked to a lot of, those type of programs across the state, and what we were providing a year to 2 years ago was much more than anyone else was providing as far as services.
Even compared to jurisdictions with drug rules.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Our program is better than Hancock's one.
I don't mean to say, I'm just saying it was more robust. There was more things being offered and done internally. And then, but without participants, I can't keep facilitators and staff there. It's just kind of. So that's kind of where it's at. So, you know, if it's gonna continue to exist in that way.
Which is kind of an interesting point. And again, we probably didn't want to have a discussion, but an interesting point, if we can't get participants into the JIP program, why are we talking about something bigger?
Didn't Jared have 5? You had 5 last month that you felt could be potential for JIP. Did our numbers go up since last month, or what is the roadblock there? If he's saying he has 5. Where's the, yeah,
We had, we use the JRAC block a little bit for our community. Other navigator kind of girl that comes in and she puts people in there on her. She does an assessment, it's like they can use it, but they're not JRAC either, still try to help themselves.
so you felt like they could be good candidates, I thought.
I would, say fine, we wouldn't allow them in there, we would think they were in there, but again, courts or prosecutors, as attorneys, and so have to mind for that too.
Right, and I think, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, Scott has been the primary push of people coming into KIP. Other, you know, and whatever they believe or don't believe, but you know, the other prosecutors have not been as on board, I think Brandon did.
Brandon, I just can't get anybody.
Things that I have, I can't.
Yeah, so I think, you know, you're getting referrals from a limited number of.
Yeah, we need to do a better job. Tier 2 has got the largest pool of candidates, that's for sure. I mean, with Judge absolute numbers, I just ran his numbers and he's getting just mostly 5s, 4s, 3s. And well, there may be some 5s we allow in, rarely, I don't think we've let in a 4, maybe once in a while.
Right.
You.
Not much paid from in my court, that's the nature of my cases and yeah, I don't get requests, so.
John, is there anything we can do better than the defense attorneys?
No, not that I can think of.
No one's hitting you yet, huh?
Thanks, Jim.
John just came and asked for good.
On a 4.
Yeah, on a 4.
I bet you did.
Maybe I'll be pressured to do it now, huh?
They'd be allowed in on a drug court.
No, yeah, our numbers are down, way down. The numbers overall are down, but
I've encouraged our CIT officers to reach out to defense attorneys too. If they, especially if they're working with somebody before if they're just called out on something. And it necessarily hasn't resulted in an arrest yet, this person has an open case or they're out on bond or whatever. I'll have my guys call, hey, call John, call Warren, call whoever and see,
Hasn't happened.
yeah, probably just me.
John, I just wanna make a record, no JIT on child porn.
they have tablets in there. And I don't want it for business current, I think it would be a good idea to kind of do a subcommittee about how law enforcement and maybe probation can help her efforts. Or it's kind of making these policies and Jeremy's gonna know. Probably 90% of your population will be able to anticipate the problems you will have. And you're also providing services, so maybe coordinate with probation, that'll be your link to that. But thank you, and I move to adjourn.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.